one of the things I love about working here at GLPro is that first and foremost, we genuinely have a team around us these days who everybody is just sweet as a nut, right? You get to hang out with everyone, have silly conversations with everyone. Awesome. I also know that they're all heavy hitters, right? They can all kick ass and take names of whatever their role is. So amazing. The other thing I love, though, is that we have the same thing with our clients. Right? I could go with a beer with any of our clients. Nearly any of our clients. Some are too far away. Australia is a long way to go for just one beer. But the good people who are heavy hitters, great at what they do, right? Treat us well. We treat them well. We have great relationships. We don't have to start every conversation and just like, bump, jump straight into business. We can have a like, hey, how you doing? How's the kids? What you been up to? Great. Oh man, you look stressed. You want me to call you back later? We have that working relationship, which is why people see us an extension of their team, right? We're an extension of their team where they like us. We like them. We like working with them. So we're showing up with a smile. We're showing up ready to work. We have people come to the office and we're dressed like we dressed. I'm sat here in a big Kahuna Burger t-shirt, right? We're not, clients coming in, quick, stick the tie on and don't stand up because you're wearing jogging bottoms. No, man, that's not us. Like, we're honest. We're truthful about who we are. And the more that we've lent into that over the last 7 years, like, the happier I know for a fact that I've been and I've become, but also Tony, my fellow founder, and everyone who works here. Like, we're getting to employ people who are like, I've not had an interview like this before. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because like, you're nice. Like, we're just having a conversation. But interestingly, what we found from those interviews is when it gets to the end and we're like, hey, any questions? What questions do you have? Because it's such a free form conversation and we're being nice and we're being ourselves and we're being very open about, like, I hate this and I don't want this, but I really like this about you. And it means that usually by the end of the interview, I'm like, any other questions? What do you have for us? And they're like, you answered them all. No, actually, no, I didn't answer them all. You asked questions during. We made a nice enough environment where there was a back and forth here and we're all able to have a conversation. So by the end of the interview, you feel fully informed, but guess what? So do we. And we try and do the same thing with clients. And in fact, like, just recently, we've walked away from a nice piece of business, right? Not only a nice piece of business, something I've chased for 15 months. Right? Previous client worked elsewhere, moved, great, wonderful. 15 months we've been in conversation, but after months and months and months of dealing with the admin side of things, we've got ourselves to a point where we just can't, we can't sign that agreement. That's not fair to us. And also, if you want us to sign that agreement, I don't want to work with you anymore. Right? We treat our suppliers so well because we know that everyone is the same in business, right? Everyone's equal. Everyone's doing the same thing. They're getting up in the morning, they're relieving themselves, they're eating some brekkie, they're heading to work. We're all doing exactly the same thing. So just because you're a CEO or you got the big title does not mean that you can start, giving shite to those basically smaller suppliers or people who are like desperate for your business. Everyone's desperate for everyone's business right now. After last year, I show me a business that's saying, hey, no, we're cool, keep your business. We've got more than enough right now. Everyone's desperate. So with that in mind, how on earth can, larger businesses, other businesses, but, essentially anyone looking for a service, how on earth can they justify setting up rules to say that suppliers, everything's their fault, it's all on them. And by the way, we'll pay you whenever we decide to, unfortunately, you have to walk away. Now, for me, that sits in a really weird dichotomy because as the managing director, I know for a fact we have to walk away. Okay. I have to walk away. There's no point us working with. I don't want my team to work with this business. It's obviously going to be very, very difficult, right? It's going to be really hard for them. They're not going to be able to do their best work if they're having to chase and having to like squeeze content out of these clients and just kind of make the contract happen. But more importantly, on the other way, like, is that business going to give us what we need if they're walking into the conversation to be, with such a set of rules, which are all based upon them and their side? And a few shows ago, I had an awesome purchasing manager on, and she was telling us how, like, it's their job to protect the company. And I so agreed with that, right? I so agreed because it is, right? And that's what a great purchasing manager does is A, protect the company, but B, also build a relationship with the suppliers. You can't build your entire relationship with the people who want the service and they love it and they're great. Wicked, can't do it. Speak to finance. Once it's sorted, come talk to me, Jay. Looking forward to getting started. And then when you're over with finance, just nope. And have a really bad experience. Because guess what? As a business, we're going to work with both sides, right? And we need to make the decision. Like, if these guys are wonderful to work with, but these are really, really hard, like, it's one business for us. And it's going to be just as hard for us. You know, we're still going to have to walk away. So it's tough because, like I say, it's two separate sides of the brain for me. As the managing director, my team shouldn't deal with it. I shouldn't have to deal with it. My finance team shouldn't have to deal with it. My CXO's been dealing with it. She shouldn't have to deal with it. On the other side, the salesperson in me, that guy is like, what? We're walking away from business? What? It's crazy talk. So, you know, and that is, I guess the problem is a bit of wearing two hats is I am literally pulled in two different directions at the moment. One being like, but I closed that. That's mine. And the other one being like, I don't want that. Now, I'm sat in a weird seat because I've got to do both. Thankfully, when we, you know, finally find our new huckleberries to work in sales, they'll be coming to us and saying like, but I closed it. And we'll say, look, realistically, this is why. And we can come to that decision and we can give them some leeway on, you know, if we're pulling the rug underneath them and saying we're not going to be able to make it done. But my job always used to be as a salesperson, not just to open it and close it, but get it over the line. Like if that meant fighting with a purchasing team or finance team or working with a purchasing or finance team for the next 18 months to get something closed, that's the price of doing business, right? It's for me, it's only a problem when the doers of the business. So for me, my video editors, podcast editors, creative producers, creative director, when those people are starting to get involved in something and, you know, there's still those kind of ugly payment conversations happening. Hate that. If a salesperson is still dealing with it, it is their job. It's their job to kind of get it over the line and then to hand it over to the doers. But there is nothing worse than looking over and seeing, you know, a technical person or a production person or an accountant or someone you're employing who's a heavy hitter like we have here. We have just great people. The last thing I'd want to see is those people kind of scratching their hair out for a client who hasn't paid, is obviously hard to work with. And I let it go through just because I like to ring the bell. I like to hit a number each year. So for us, it's a very easy decision that I have struggled with because of my two different hats that you put on. So for all you sales managers out there and all you managing directors who haven't been salespeople, right? When you get that pushback from salespeople and they just do not understand what you're talking about or any of the reasons that the business shouldn't do it, give them a little extra leeway. They're one-track mind people, much like sharks. They're just worrying about sleeping and eating, right? So give them the benefit of the doubt. And for me, when I actually started to become like a better salesperson was when my managers, when the managing director, operations manager, sales manager, the business I was working in would explain those things to me and make me understand that, yes, it's good for you and you would close it and you'd have some cash in your pocket. And yeah, you'd be a little closer to hitting your end of your number. Great. And you get to ring that bell. Well done. Yeah. But the business isn't going to, see success from this. The business isn't going to be in a position where it's like having to, we're not going to profit from this. You are. Now, for me, that actually changed me as a salesperson because beforehand I was very much a lone wolf and didn't really care about the business I was working for. But at that point, I was working for a team where I loved them. I wanted to impress them. And, you know, the more I found out about business and why my actions could actually hinder a business, not just help. You know, I thought just sell, someone else's problem. Booyah, bing, 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 bing. However, it's just not the case, right? The more that I learned about business, then the more I was able to have like better conversations with prospects and say, hey, well, I know when salespeople do this, right, it's a real problem. And they were like, oh, it is, you know, stuff, right? And I was able to have a better chat, speak to more high level people and kind of get the message out there a little bit more. So folks, I've strolled past longer than any person should on their own. I just want to thank everyone who commented. I haven't jumped on any of your questions because I'm terrible at reading at this distance. We've got a big old TV now and I can you know, I can see that Sarah messaged me, but that's about the best. So I just want to say thank you for joining us. What we'll do is we will reschedule Bess. She's wonderful. She's awesome. She's got such a cool message and a book out. So no matter, even that she didn't make it, go and check out Bess Hour. Her book is out right now. And when she comes back on, she can tell you what the book's about. Because I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do a really bad job, right? If I start talking about this book, I'm going to be like, it's about this, it's about that. And it probably ain't. So big shout out to Bess. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for everyone for joining. I really, really appreciate it. And as always, Mason, if we just finished the verse, at this point, you'd be taking me to the bridge, sir. Well, there it is, folks. One man and his opinion over a number of minutes. Like I said in the show, it was a little bit of a curveball for me because unfortunately the guest didn't make it. However, we will make sure to get Bess back on the show. Thank you if you made it this far on. As you can tell, I may have been freaking out a little bit, but we did cover some good subjects, right? Sales, prospecting, all that good stuff right there, right for you on the Daily Show. And the show must go on, kids. So make sure you keep hitting record even when it doesn't feel right. Do me a favor, if you get a chance, hit like and subscribe. It really helps out the algorithms. It gets this show in front of new people. It allows us to book new guests, the more engagement we get, because there are those guests out there who will just look at the numbers and say, hey, man, I'm too famous. So if you want to see that famous show, you want to see Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger right here on the Daily Show. And quite frankly, why have you not liked it? Why have you not subscribed? Are you crazy? You crazy, SA? Huh? I don't think you're crazy. I love you guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. And I'll check you out on the next episode of The Daily Show.